Hello, humans, and welcome back to another episode of RD2H Road to Happiness, building our dream realities one life lesson at a time. So, this week's life lesson, I got annoyed. And if you don't know what getting annoyed means, I'm jealous of you because I wish I didn't. I'm about to tell you so you don't have to learn the hard way. Anora is essentially a movie where this rich Russian kid goes to Vegas, falls in love with this stripper, promises her the world, moves her into his mansion, marries her, takes her on all these extravagant adventures, and then the fun ends and he basically love bombed and ghosted her. And so I recently experienced something quite similar, and what's really eerie about my situation is this guy laid up in my bed and showed me the movie Anora. He showed me what he was about to do to me in a movie. Literally was like, I need to show you this movie. Had me watch the entire Anora movie and then love bombed and ghosted me just like the movie. So, that's a new one. It's a new one for me, and it got me thinking about why I keep attracting these love bombers. So in this week's episode, we're going to be going over the kind of men that like to love bomb, what I'm doing to attract those kind of men, and how after this experience I'm kind of wide awake and aware of how I need to change and approach dating a little bit differently so that I can stop attracting psychopaths. So let's get into it. RD2H. Okay, so after a little bit of time of self-reflection, I realized that this is not the first love bombing experience I've had, and that I very much attract love bombing. And it's because of my own availability and like the way that I approach dating that attracts this kind of guy. And it's the same kind of guy that does this over and over again. So when you're looking at love bombing, you're talking about the same type of dude that love bombs. It's the guy who craves new experiences, intensity, and thrives in the moment. And so they start to build up this entire relationship because it feels good, and they're completely convinced in the moment that like you are the love of their life and they aren't going to get bored this time, and like this time is different, and they have fooled even themselves that they're capable of sustaining a relationship. And so they'll love bomb you, get all your attention, like create this intensity, and then as soon as it gets real, it kind of pops their fantasy bubble that they had built, and they're unable to sustain that level of intensity or connection. So that's why as soon as like it gets confrontational or like accountability enters the chat, these guys have avoidant behavior and just completely ghost. And so I think it had to happen to this extreme for me to finally wake up and see the pattern that I'm currently living within my dating life. And like I said, I've been love bombed before, but this was another level. This guy who talked to me for 2 months, he was driving 2 hours to my apartment multiple times a week to see me. He was waiting at a coffee shop until I got off work. He shared his location. He changed my lock screen to a picture of us. He left his car at my place on a 2-week international trip. He did some psycho stuff, like left a Bible out because he knows I'm religious, and like literally pointed out that there was a Bible on the table, asked to be exclusive on the first date, asked to move in with each other, and like looking at apartments on the second date. Like, now that I say it out loud, definitely not healthy behavior. But as I'm looking back on all my past relationships started with love bombing. And your first relationships really outline how you approach the next one and the next one. So love bombing has been something that is normalized for me. I think, oh, this is how it's supposed to feel. This is how I'm supposed to be treated, when in reality, it's very unstable, toxic behavior to move so quickly with somebody that you've just met. And I mistake intensity for something real when it's not. So like I said, it's the same kind of guys that love bomb, the same psychological patterns, the same avoidant behavior. And so why am I attracting only these psychopath love bombing dudes? And it's because I'm matching energy and intensity right off the bat. They start to love bomb, I feed into it. I give them access to me in my life before time has proven any consistency in what they're saying. So I just eat it up. I eat up the future faking. I eat up the small, fast pace. For this one, I thought, nobody's gonna do all of this, drive the 2 hours, buy dresses, buy things, say all of this. Like, nobody's gonna put in this much work if they're love bombing. And that's how intense it had to be for me to finally realize that yes, they will, because they are caught up in the moment, in the storyline. So I'm giving too much access. Like, I'm like, oh, you want to come over after the first date? You want to come over 3 days a week? I'll give you all my time. I'll leave work early. Like, I'm giving too much access to myself, and I'm matching intensity too quickly. And that's why I'm attracting guys who feed off of, very fast, intense relationships and then get avoidant. Because the guy who actually wants something stable is not going to feed into my intensity. Like, it's going to be a red flag. The way that I approach dating is a red flag, so I keep attracting red flags, because I find that when it's like stable and consistent, I get bored. I'm like, oh, this isn't exciting enough for me. So I can't have both chaos and stability. And let's be so for real. Like, you want to be love bombed. I want to be love bombed. I wanted it to be real. And because during the love bombing, they're constantly feeding you with reassurance, dopamine, attention, and it's just like so much up front, and it's such a fast, like, building a relationship and falling, and like literally so much chemicals in your brain giving you that freaking love hormone. You are being so overloaded with constant attention and constant, like, building of a fake relationship that you don't have time to step back and actually use logic in the situation and like point the holes. Like, there were so many lies that this guy was saying that just didn't add up. There were so many holes and like red flags that didn't add up, but my brain didn't want to spot it because it wanted it to be real. I was so invested in it, and I was getting so much like dopamine and so much constant stimulants from the relationship because he was love bombing me, that my brain didn't have enough time to like calm down, process, and say, wait, this doesn't add up, that doesn't add up, there's holes in the story. So it wasn't until everything ended that I finally had to detox and realized, wait a minute, there were so many lies and red flags that I didn't see because he was constantly making me like have rose-colored glasses, and I didn't want to see them. And the fact that psychotic people do exist. This guy lied about like literally everything about him. Like, after it ended, there's this thing called the T app. I was able to find him on the T app. He had he said he hadn't dated in a while. He had 25 red flags in 9 months, 30 comments of girls saying he did the same thing. I think he was lying about his lifestyle. I think he was lying about like his sisters. I think he possibly had a girlfriend. Like, I don't know anything about this kid. Like, there's nothing I know about this kid. And that's another thing. Like, you get so caught up in the love bombing that you like convince yourself, because you're getting so much attention and so much all up front, that it's real. But when you step back, like, I don't know a single thing about this kid, and I was convinced that I was in love with him in 2 months, and I didn't know anything about him. And that's the dopamine and all of the love bombing literally getting rid of your logical behavior. You have no logical behavior when you're in that state of mind. So now that I see that, I'm not going to give access to myself so immediately, because it could feel like you're building a connection, but you actually don't even know the other person. And by adding boundaries moving forward, I can filter out the guys that are just there for a big intensity dump, and the guys who are actually there to build something. Because the guys who just want intensity and they just want that love bombing experience and to feel like they have something real until they actually have to be a good person, they get bored when you add boundaries. They get bored when you say, hey, I'm not free till the weekend. They get bored when you don't text them all day, every day. They get bored and filter themselves out, where the actual guys that want to build something aren't going to want to match that crazy intensity, and they're going to slow build. So I need to teach myself right now how to slow build and stop getting all wrapped up in my emotions, which is like a big life lesson I'm learning right now. Like, I need to contain my emotions and learn how to use my emotions for my benefit and not just to fall into them. And in my dating life right now, that's a big thing. Like, I need to control my emotions, and even though I have all of these like love hormones, I need to realize that time is the only thing that can tell consistency and intentions. Words mean literally nothing. Like, you need enough time to see who somebody is, and I'm not giving my relationships that. And lastly, just the difference between intensity, like I said, and consistency. Like, intensity is not love. It is literally just building a fake foundation only for real life to show you that that foundation never existed in the first place. And I needed it to be this intense. I needed this crazy of a psychopath story. 23 red flags on the T app, multiple girls saying the same thing, 2 months of my life invested, completely buying the BS. Bro made me watch Honora, and then he made me watch The Notebook. Like, some psychopath crazy thing like this had to happen for me. I had to be a Nora to realize maybe love bombing isn't normal in the beginning of a relationship. Maybe the way that I'm approaching my relationships and what I think is a healthy start to a relationship is actually very unhealthy behavior that I've normalized within my life. So now moving forward, when I get love bombed, which I wouldn't have seen before or admitted, no, they're not in love with me the second that they meet me. It is most likely unstable, avoidant behavior that I could spot sooner. So that is the life lesson I pulled from this week, and I love you guys. And if you haven't ever gone an Nora or didn't know what a Nora was, hopefully this episode prevents you from ever having to deal with it yourself, because that shit sucked. Anyways, love you guys. See you for another episode of RD2H Road to Happiness, building our dream realities one life lesson at a time. Bye.